Stay tuned to 98.1 FM. Fambul one for apologize for the breaking down transmission due to technical reason. We are back. Stay tuned to 98.1 FM, the nation's finest radio.
Good day and welcome to the program Midday Show. We come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Me with this program can today, my name Nacheng Ojalo. Like all time inside this particular program, we get information and self-entertainment. So stay with me for the next 1 hour. Inside the program today, we go talk to Imran Sila, when I member of the SLPP communication team, and Sef Abdul Karim Kamara, we Sef na member of the APC communication team. They go count about the constitutional amendment bill. We examine the APC decision for seek the Supreme Court interpretation on this particular document with Parliament agree for some time ago. The program na Midday Show will come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Before we welcome studio guests them at the program, we go quick and take this first material. We go outside the managing director for the job search salon. Don't say the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security for use them way how them go able for get new regulation and private employment agency then for get accurate data on how the private sector they contribute to the president's bill in 500,000 work them will be promised. Chairman Davis gets more on this story.
Part of President Julius Maada bill in promise for give about 500,000 jobs to salon people. Now for ensure say all man at the labor sector self-contributes to this goal. But for long term now in this sector, the ministry be don't find it difficult for understand who that then they na the country where they work as private employment agency them, whose kind of work they do and how they help for contribute. So the work promise where the president be don't make before this term. This make the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, this BNTM, don't engage different private employment agencies in the country so that they go look inside and work and able or get one word agreement on how they for regulate them for do them work fine. The Director of Labour and Employment at the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, Idrissa Doumbouya, be explain more but this.
We've been do public statements last week. We kind of invite them to a meeting so that we can set the pace for able for draw the attention to the provisions and the employment regulation. We speak to private employment agency and also how we go better or strengthen them provision and because one for review them. But law, go make them for people, let me not allow them for participate as to how the law for look like in the future. We all agree the path we go take for review that regulation day. We speak to private employment agency. Well, as I say, not too distant future because by Tuesday coming, we get 2-day session with the technical committee. Then after that, on Wednesday again, the big body go sit on back, for look at what the technical committee don't do. From there, we go begin to work towards the road of finalization. This is not two weeks happen. Quick one.
The director continue for talk about the impact what this engagement and the regulation process what the ministry they try for get for their agency they are go bring to the labor sector.
The ILO Convention on private employment or recruitment agency. So now some of them standards and they would try for like me too. But as a country, we don't go far now because we mentioned them the issue of private employment, that the Employment Act and also the Employment Regulation. Both of them now 2023. So we don't agree for get a technical committee. We include WIO Ministry, members of the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, Sierra Leone Employers Federation, and also from the private recruitment or employment agencies, them from among them, people who have been there or they in that committee day so that we will work together for kind of like put proposal where we go finalize and not too distant future. Well, important because one, a part of the agenda for make sure say we realize decent work in the country and also for make sure say we protect the rights of workers them. So if then they also operate in that space, we need for make them think and align their thoughts with within we self get we now the people who they oversee them.
During this engagement, it will take but over 2 hours question and answer session between the agency them and the ministry. Just after where the Director of Labour and Employment video explained the different regulation them, what they want for bringing at this sector and how it work in other country them. And this be make Ready Democracy meet with one pandemic agency they are winner job search, and the managing director for this agency, Edlin Elba, be explain more but how they receive this and waiting go be the contribution of regulation and the work they do.
So it's always good for regulator sector, and we gladly obviously where they invite some of we been already see the regulations and we been don't voice out say it really not get for work the way how the regulation make. For starters, we not believe say all man they work under one blanket category way for make then license now for all man. We get at least 3 different categories where they work. So when you talk about security bond, for example, you get for measure the risk, only you able for say okay this one require bond, this one will require bond. Also when you talk about the license. So all of these things I think say the ministry as well as Labour Congress need for understand how agency work day, and then we design them for suit how we do work.
The managing director and for call on other agency them for be part of the process and meet to the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security so that they will know the way forward and allow them for be part of the national contribution for provide the 500,000 job where the president be promised to the people. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Jaffa Max Davis, the report.
And the program we listen to na midday show, it come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We bring this program come to you today. My name na Cheng Nojalo, and make I just bring the listeners them up to speed as we don't get to be 2 studio guests them na the program. Imran Sila, a member for the Sierra Leone People's Party communication team. Good day, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, and plenty thank you for the opportunity.
And also Abdul Karim Kamara, member also na the APC communication team. Good day, welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure being here. Good day, Sierra Leoneans.
Okay, we're gonna continue for those in the program. Just do a quick recap of how we arrived at this particular program today. People remember say sometime early or late January this particular year, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice been tabled the Constitution Amendment Bill 2025 in Parliament for approval. Fast forward to now, after 4 sittings, Parliament don't finally agree for them, but a lot of controversy around this particular document where Parliament don't agree for. The All People's Congress, the the people, and so many concerns with regards to the process, procedure, and self. The laws them we they inside this particular document, and for sake of that make we do this program today. Having said that, Abdul Karim Kamara, the APC on Friday get a meeting where they outline several things them we they want for undertake going forward with regards to this particular document. Firstly, we know what are the gray areas them we wanna concern about the document.
We concerns the span from a very sincere and nationalistic point of view, born out of the true and genuine intent of democracy, wherein democracy serves the majority, the government of the people and for the people, where the majority speaks, the decisions of the majority stand tall. And so this is exactly where the APC's interest is emanating from. So, we say the ruling of the Speaker on the 10th of August 2026, relying exclusively on Section 91 of the Constitution, now a clear abrogation of the same 1991 Constitution will provide for exceptional circumstances, wherein in those circumstances, as in this instant case, which is the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2025, the exclusive provision it rely on for inform the voting pattern of parliamentarians is born pursuant to section 108, 2, paragraph B. That's the bone of contention. And so the APC, being a very decent and civilized political party, don't decide, say, you know what, in the 21st century, we agree to disagree, but not when we resort to barbarism and pelting stones at each other. There's the highest court of the land. Let us go and seek interpretation at the highest court of the land, knowing too well that the speaker himself, whilst presiding, he equally make reference, say, this ruling of mine is subjected to an interpretation by the Supreme Court. And so the APC say, the speaker don't err in law. And so the only competent authority or the only competent institution for correct that error in law is the Supreme Court, which is the court of first instance when it comes to constitutional matters.
Okay. La Holiday, and also bring Imran Sila, member SLPP, communication team. Imran, away from this discussion, we will get now, so I believe set up for a lot of media engagement from 98.2 and other sister, media outs them. The similar concern way, I want to call her honorable because I say honorable Ekeke in parliament.
This is lawyer Ekeke.
This lawyer Ekeke, they so now similar concern. A lot of APC people and self, even other lawyers, you know, they say the process where speaker be used that day, for this particular document not being just. But SLPP, they say otherwise. Why would I believe say the speaker in ruling been there in line with the law?
So I'll tell you plenty. Thank you again. I want first of all go back to the intro you give, because you seem for pinpoint from January, right, of 2020.
No, we cannot parliament. Let me say. Reading.
No, I know, but we talk about a constitutional bill, will be done at the works for a very long time. So for people in Wego, basically just the tune in for the very first time and they listen to this conversation, probably not be don't get any inkling, then we sort of think, oh, it suddenly just begin happening in January, right, up until this point and until you go through all the stages that you go through in a parliament. Constitutional review process don't take, if I'm not mistaken, about 20 years in the works, yeah, for get up until this point. Law not forget, say, from a historical context, and then they go help for situate this conversation correctly. Where they talk about the TRC report and the recommendations there. Not so? One of the things that we put forward now that we need to look at the constitution because, look at the root causes to the civil conflict and so on and so forth. And so those are one of the recommendations of the TRC report. Fast forward, President Ernest Bai Koroma, after 2007, when he became president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, I put together a committee, I think it was an 80-man committee, and also led by the late Justice Edmund Cowan, and for review the Constitution, right, word by word, page by page, line by line, paragraph by paragraph, and fancy. In page 205 of the report of the Constitutional Review Committee, chaired by the late Justice Edmund Cowan, it reads thus, and I state, the APC went on to recommend that in line with the international best practice, we believe, their belief at the time, 55% threshold for outright election of the president is too high. Underline the word towards, too high. Don't only say high, then qualify them. So there's an adjective where they describe between high look like for them. Too high. I said the constitution should be amended to allow a presidential candidate who gets 50 plus 1 of the votes cast in the first round to be president. All right. And they took that to Parliament. But because that was the back end of the elections in 2018, for all intents and purposes, they realized, say, it was too late in the day, right, under the presidency of Ernest Bai Koroma for now follow through on them and go past them. So they had to pull it back. So many reference points in there. We have had the Honorable Ibrahim Bundu, when I've been a majority leader in our parliament, don't mention down there, on several opportunities where again, now all of them platforms they are. We also done Yeri from the Honorable Alpha Khan, who is presidential spokesperson now, who was in it, thick and thin, right? Throughout all of them processes, also don't mention, say, then they can go parliament, and these were their positions at that material point in time. Now, fast forward to now. This is where I have a lot of concerns. I mean, very first time this for get involved in this conversation, yeah, and hand on heart. For the past 3 weeks, I don't stay away from Freetown. I don't get an opportunity to listen to all of the conversations, including my brother AKK, CDI, Tunis, Timbo. And there are a few things in there I think we need to understand which are facts. Number one, waiting being go before Parliament with them vote on was no different from waiting they adopt as a position, the All People's Congress under President Ernest Bai Koroma, number one. Number two, it is also factual that if you check around the continent, I think Salone is about, Google right now as we talk, Salone will be about the only country we believe in that 55% as a threshold for presidential election. Most countries around the continent and globally, they go by 50+1 or first past the post, if you like. Right, so if for anything, and these are one of the things they stated back then, by the way, so simply the echo the position of the previous government in terms of waiting at the thinking as to why we adopted all of them positions they are, right, taken by the 80-man committee led by the late Justice Edmund Cowan, which the president then adopted and said it consistent with within Naren core values. Yeah, we have been very consistent for anything. So we take this thing to Parliament now. Now, I think the question has to be not necessarily for a bill being passed into law. It has to be fundamental, right? Because I sense the conversation will seem for the get that somehow all of this don't emanate from an APC, an SLPP led.
Let me move past that one.
No. I beg, please.
One for come to you don't build good premises.
No, I just rest on the premise now for move forward.
Yeah, let me move forward.
All of this did not emanate inside the second term of President Julius Maada Bio. It don't at the works for long. Now, me think if APC get alternate views, different from which them get today, they now have to explain to the people of this country why their views then now different from the views that would then behold under President Ernest Bai Koroma, number one. I think that's a valid conversation in the context of all of them conversations there that we need to forget, because we owe in terms of being in positions of trust to the people of this country, because I didn't give them mandates there, right? So if you flip-flop and change positions from one to the other, you want to the people and back for now come and say, these are position number one. Number two, why is it that for every term now, and at the count to the third one we get for do with this particular process and procedure that was used, yeah? Why is it that every time there is something contentious, the natural reaction of the APC would be to walk out, yeah? Then do that after the election results in 2023. They did that again, right? On another instance for the electoral commissioner, and also they walked out and they came back in, and now they have done it again. But not take my word for that. I think it's a concern that then seem for not adopt that as a political approach, as a political strategy. That the first thing to do is to walk out. Then former Majority Leader Honorable Ibrahim Bundu said something towards this effect, that in your interpretation, it thinks 108 that they are relying on. And look, I'm not a lawyer, not by any means. And I know also think either of we, not me, not AKK, when a lawyer na get any, which you like say, entitlement in terms of interpretation of the Constitution. It's not our job. That's the job of the first court of contact as the Supreme Court. Now they ultimately get a responsibility there. Yeah. So Supreme Court rightly go make then judgment call in terms of interpretation of the Constitution.
For one of the SLPP, the procedure where Parliament choose for agree for the document no violate any provisions of the law.
That's the point I was coming to. From which we hear the speaker talk, right? He's also a lawyer of long standing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, about 20 years standing, yeah, at the bar. In say 91 subsection 1, consistent in terms of, in your opinion, right? Okay. For the procedures being used.
Okay.
And which was not the first time, by the way.
Okay.
They don't use them procedures and this several times.
Okay.
It did the exceptions also, right? As in the address Parliament, which was for public consumption. 29(3)(b), 1199, section 1377, 13710, 173, 108(2)(b, and so on and so forth.
Let me quickly let me.
Which is say this, as it don't get in ruling, not forget say Parliament they regulate itself. As it don't get in ruling, and don't come to them conclusions, and there was a vote. He also said, for clarity going forward, because every time then this particular section and this provision come up that is being used to Parliament, it has been contentious. We have to concede to that point. And so that is why he has said, let's go now to the Supreme Court. Let's get some closure. That's the mindset.
Okay.
Go and get some closure. And I think that's about the best thing anybody can do. And so we don't say, naturally APC as a political party also don't pick up on and say they also go to the Supreme Court now for an interpretation. Because now they ultimately get a
Imran Sila, member for the Sahel People's Party communication team, I mean AKK from the APC, everything is for nothing wrong with the process with the speaker use, I mean for make that document they passed on that in a parliament. You agree with
I'm not saying nothing wrong with the process. I say
you refer some provisions that the speaker
So I know for put my opinion into this conversation.
Okay.
I hope you understand. We yeri publicly, right? Because not to inside closed door, not to behind closed doors, then go make the decisions there. It was for public consumption. It give all of them provisions there what I don't highlight and which rely on when a 91 subsection and subsection 1. It is not my point for agree or disagree with Andy. I am saying, number one, not to the first term, it don't rely on them provisions there, right, when it comes to issues, and those provisions have always been contentious.
So you don't know if the speaker right or wrong?
I'm not a lawyer. I cannot make those decisions.
Okay, let me get.
No. Come. Okay. Let's understand this one as well. Let us understand this well.
Get some more bites on
let us understand this one well.
Than the company.
Not me, not AKK Sidonea can give you a finality or not. No, opinion don't matter in this because it has gone out to the Supreme Court. I cannot give an opinion. Via Ilansana, who is a renowned lawyer in this country within our Human Rights Commission, said this. And Honorable Timbo, we also did it. And then to be getting at that very platform that they discussed on this very same matter. He said, not him as a lawyer of over 15, 20 years standing, not Honorable Timbo as a lawyer of over 10, 15 years standing, get any right for interpret that provision.
A lot of engagement them with people and the APC and self, other lawyers, them believe say what in the speaker, rely on that they actually wrong. We should scribe.
Genuinely, if I don't get the opportunity for digress from your position we put forward, but I strictly stick to your question because I feel say they manage the time very well. And thankfully, say he has got more opportunity.
Yeah, so let me the make
So please, the public, they see you with the moderate and for fairness. The position of the APC is this, that Section 91 is a general provision which regulates the ordinary business of Parliament and dictates the voting pattern in Parliament when they are discussing issues relating to the ordinary business of Parliament, i.e., passage of bills, approval of nominees, and other businesses of government or of Parliament. When it comes to the exceptional situation in Parliament and it requires voting, specifically a alteration of the Constitution, it is provided for at Section 108, subsection 2, paragraph B, that when you want to change an is to was in this Constitution, at to off in this Constitution, hence you are altering the Constitution, you only have to do that pursuant to Section 108, subsection 2, paragraph B. That's the position of the APC. And so we are saying to the learned Speaker of Parliament that you have held in law. That's our position. That because you've held in law and you've equally concocted to that same fact that indeed I may not be right here, it is subjected to further interpretation to the Supreme Court. Us, the APC, have taken it to ourselves that, you know what, we know that he has held in law, we know the extant provisions of the Constitution as cited by him, they are erroneous, and so the only competent institution, the only competent judges that would determine whether he was right or wrong was that particular panel of judges that will be empaneled by the Chief Justice to sit on that matter at the Supreme Court. But however, he made a further rider on the following day that Parliament has immunity, and thus his ruling is subjected to no checks or further scrutiny. And that's again where the APC say no. There have been precedents before where the same parliamentary immunity you're claiming with regards to the expulsion of Honorable Seri Kamal, Honorable Eddie Toure, Honorable Usher Williams, John Kerifa Smart, and others, the Supreme Court ruled against a ruling that was done in Parliament, ousting them out of Parliament to get them reinstated. So there are precedents of same. So to say you cannot inquire into the ruling of the Speaker in Parliament in the laws of Sierra Leone, no. There are landmark instances. The same has been done before, and nothing will stop us from going again to Parliament to ask the same, nothing will stop us again to go to the Supreme Court and ask the same Supreme Court to rely on the doctrine of binding precedent, that it has happened before. And this is exactly what has repeated itself again. This is the situation. Let us see how best we can correct an error from the Speaker of Parliament. He's human. He is not a saint that you can excuse him from infallibility. No.
The Speaker get 3 months window, we mean say the Supreme Court for them give ruling on this. Let me assume say before that 3 months they elapse and the President already give assent to the particular.
Again, that is exactly where again I want to say again that the Speaker, again, with all due respect to him, he happens to be my elder brother. Again, he is not really doing justice to the 1991 Constitution. There is no law in this Constitution that says after the bill has passed the third reading, I'll subject it to 3 months. No. When you read section 106, subsection 7, it tells you after the bill has completed its third reading, it is automatically the duty of that bill to be submitted to the President for his accent or his signature. The sooner that is done, effective instantaneously, that bill becomes law. And it's now asked to be published in the Gazette. However, pursuant to section 106 sub 7, the President has the right, based on what we are doing now, to say, wait a second, based on all the hue and cry, based on public opinion, based on the opposition, based on civil society, based on members of the Fourth Estate, they are saying, please, Mr. President, don't append your signature. He has the right not to append.
A blunder from the Speaker?
Yes, he has the right to say, I will not append my signature to this bill. And he has 14 days. Take it from me. He has 14 days as the President to return that bill to Parliament, stating clearly the grounds at which he is denying to append his signature.
Okay. Quick one again. Imran, the fact that the Speaker gave 3 months window for make President give assent before, and the Supreme Court decide on them. You think it's a blunder on the Speaker again, on the side of the Speaker?
No, not at all. I mean, look, if you go back to within the Speaker say, it was voted upon by members of Parliament present, and it is now passed by Parliament, waiting, subjected to another litmus test, which is the reference to my brother Dongi as provided for by the Constitution, Act number 6 of 1991, to presidential assent. I hope you understand. The Speaker writes, and as I said earlier, amongst the many submissions that I don't make in my intro, not to the first time this we don't rely on them provisions there, number one. Also, for all the time that we don't rely on them provisions there, it has always been contentious. Yeah, we don't always cause APC for walkouts. So if now me been there in a Speaker in position, I'm just thinking aloud now. I mean, for definitely don't adopt the same position where the Speaker adopts. Say, okay, yeah, we don't give ruling, we don't express opinion on these then same provisions they are in terms of procedural provisions, right, as captured by the Constitution of the Republic. 91 subsection 1 and all the exceptions there as we see them, and they have always been contentious. It makes sense to everybody and to anybody that the ultimate litmus test for put them provisions then they through for an interpretation It's the Supreme Court.
Now the speaker say when the process continue. But again, following day we see that the Facebook page them post say the speaker they rely on section 94, I think subsection 2, where they say the speaker is ruling a final and not court no right for looking inside. At this point, what in the SLPP think?
So again we're getting it convoluted, right? We're getting it convoluted somehow. The speaker has given a ruling and has taken a position. This is not constitutional interpretation.
And the same house come back and post on the Facebook page say the speaker is ruling a final and not court for looking inside.
But that's the point I'm making. I say we're getting it mixed up now in all of them conversations that we done for the past 3 weeks. This is my very first engagement on the issues there. The speaker has taken a position and there has been a ruling for which there were votes. The speaker, not in responsibility for now, determine interpretations to constitutional provisions. Yeah, because they have been contentious over time in terms of their ruling then day, and then votes then day. This is not the first, this is not the second, I think it's about the third or fourth, if I'm not mistake. It is right that the only court that has the authority and get the jurisdiction for interpret the Constitution and clearly define and for give clarity going forward. So now two separate things then. There's the speaker's ruling, there's the constitutional interpretation. So the constitutional interpretation, it is not the speaker's responsibility, but the Supreme Court.
So the post on the Parliament of Sierra Leone official Facebook page, you think where for puts down?
You can read it again for the public.
You think where for puts down based on what you talk so now?
Waiting.
The way they say the speaker ruling is final and cannot be interpreted or inquired into by any court of law. Now read what the last paragraph actually says. They refer to section 94.
The speaker in position, Parliament they regulate itself and cannot be subjected, right, to any other body. So that's different from the Constitution. Act number 6 of 1991. If you go back to the very Constitution, they tell you say the only one will get I don't know how I can call it, they will get supervisory responsibility.
It's the Supreme Court.
It's the Supreme Court.
Okay.
And the Supreme Court are the court of first instance in terms of constitutional interpretation.
I agree.
Not the court of Parliament to go back on this post and take down.
Firstly,
because I watch now, I still in at the website.
Let me make this very clear, and I want to talk in Creole because sometimes I see somebody text me just and say, "Okay, talk Creole." Section 94(2) as cited by the
writers
of wherever, or the PR of the Australian Parliament. Let us not lose sight of the fact that parliaments get what we call parliamentary immunity. But however, the only court in this land that is the highest court of the land that has jurisdiction over everything in this land is the Supreme Court. I repeat this, and I said it again in passing, that this is not the first time parliaments they pass ruling where then they go challenge the Supreme Court. Supreme Court overturn the ruling of Parliament and reinstate them. Because when you go back to the constitution of this country, it will tell you what exactly is the functions and the powers of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Sierra Leone. So therefore, if they say so, that is their own argument. But I am now saying to them, go back. What makes you a good student is your ability to research, to venture into gray areas, to read and learn more. He might be so comfortable with the immunity as covering Parliament. Fine. But let him equally know, in law there is what we call the exception to the exception. In as much as we have the general rule, there's an exception to the general rule. And there's an exception to the exception. This is law. So in as much as Parliament gets, we say the President, for instance, section 40, he is the fountain of honor, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Republic of Sierra Leone, and thus the symbol of unity. He has supreme executive authority. That's supreme executive authority of the president. When he tends to at least use it in a way that is not provided for in this law, in the 1991 Constitution, where do you go?
Okay,
you go to the Supreme Court.
Let me
so therefore, I am saying that yes, that ruling from Parliament can no way deny the APC and the Supreme Court, which is the highest court of the land, to inquire into it and either accept it or give a dissenting view.
When I don't start the process for filing at the Supreme
Yes,
Court?
of course. The party has acceded to that. The legal team of the party is not seriously putting papers together to file a very serious case in court.
How long that one will take now?
We are now on it.
Now, how long the filing process will take and the
We've been
court
on it
decide
for the
call on
past
the
2
matter?
weeks now.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, 6 days.
6 days.
Yes, 6 days exactly. So
What in
papers are
change?
almost done.
What in change? 2023 when I lost the election, when I claim say they rigged the election. They say when I go court, when I go court, now that they abstain from governance. Now when I don't go to court on this particular
This was
matter.
the same question they asked me this morning
What
on
in change?
Epic Radio.
What in change?
And let me answer and back like I answer on Epic Radio. I like Iman always can say one thing. He likes situating arguments. And for every situation under the sun, it has what to call precision and the apt approach to it. And so Niccolo Machiavelli says, as a shrewd politician, you must have 2 faces, that of gentility and bestiality. Use either of the faces as and when the need arises. So for every political act, it has to have its complementing reaction as at the material time. That clear now? I don't answer now. Now let me demystify it. At the material time, where 2023 elections done, the right political action to take was not to go to court, but to take the act we took, and it yielded dividend.
We're not going to court because
We're not going to court.
System.
No, we're not going to court. This is where I'm coming, but you're just if you for all I'm in my land. We're not going to court in 2023 after that most distorted election or most controversial election ever. Not because we don't trust the court.
No,
that was not the position. No. I think I've never said that. And the party has never said that.
There were plenty of people by you.
I speak for and on behalf of the
APC. They don't trust the court.
See the Tunis. I engage
I have never said that. No. I have never had the APC party, and most especially the official spokesperson of the party, say we're not going to court because we don't trust the system. No. He has always said the APC is not insolvent of strategies and positions. At that material time, the right strategy was to abstain from governance and to see how best we can take a political action. We took a political action, and that yielded dividend.
Okay. Imran, AKK say, he say the Department put together a document them for going to the Supreme Court for interpretation. At this point, from what happened during the 2023 election, never mind say they don't say that one. There were plenty of people go confirm saying that most of the thing they say. No. Because the APC think they're sincere.
So when you say plenty people there, add me and then plenty. I hope you understand. So not say plenty people there. Me privilege and don't get the opportunity for sit on a platform with all of them and they all are my brother there. From AKK to CD Tunis to Pope to Uda again. Honorable Timbo, Budom, Gakenap. So many of them platform there. They said categorically at the time, and then they lead me to the next point I want for me, that they get reservations about the Supreme Court. Now that make them not good.
No,
they're not going to trust the Supreme Court and all of them.
I've never said that to you.
Now,
please, Iman, don't indict me.
This begs another very important point. We have been trying for touch on earlier. I pray say you go ask that question there. Because it's not only me getting concerns there. You know, plenty of them are me party them. Away from them spotlight there and then platform there, men, some of them do the top tip. And I have always asked the question to them, me body them, bosom. I said, why is it? I said, would the advice on that any given opportunity at the slightest instant na follow and walk out of something? I said, what are the advice now? I said, then person and do the advice now. I mean, this is pro bono, eh? You owe unto them because you want them also for be an effective opposition. I said, everything no more now when I do the workout. I said, that person with the advice now. I know the advice now well. I said, because you guys are losing everything in the process. You begin to come back and then when I realize
and the workout they can make them lose this particular.
So this is not the first time. You just don't mention. No, so post elections they walked out. On the election, on the appointment of the electoral commissioner, they walked out. They said, no, we're not agree, we don't want to, not this, not that. They have come back. And within another town and a public now that they have had several meetings with this gentleman where they said they don't want for which they walk out common parliament for. They are not saying that in public. And they have done it again for
now they lost all their walkout here. Now they lost.
It's a no-brainer. And don't take it from me. The former majority leader now the House of Parliament, Honorable Ibrahim Bundu, you know what he said? On this particular instance, first of all, a question, all of them walk out them. just like I do privately, and this is the first time I'm saying it publicly, even though I don't do them pro bono advice there in privately, some of them and a day. This is the first time I'm saying it publicly. But Honorable Ibrahim Bundu said this. He said, let's assume a situation in that well of parliament, because they say 2/3 majority of members of parliament present at that time, not so, now then vote, ally? They walked out. Honorable Ibrahim Bundu gave a scenario and said, if they had sat in that hall, every single APC MP, that 2/3 majority not before they ever occur, because the sum totality of both SLPP and NPC and Paramount Chief MPs would have meant a lot more than what it mean, based on the interpretation of the Constitution and the members of Parliament present and voting at that material point in time. They say, so you don't understand why they walk out.
So back to the question on the issue of APC going to the Supreme Court for interpretation. You think it will not be fair with the voters? 2023 for don't take up the matter at Supreme Court, they not go. But this time around they go to Supreme Court.
That's a much bigger problem. I mean, that will also get for consider. But imagine now, you don't change the maths dynamics at an instance. The fact that you walk out of Parliament, that 2/3 majority interpretation, the maths become different than if you've been Sidonde. So that was what Honorable Ibrahim Bundu said, and he said it on AYV. Those are public knowledge. Yeah, he said they had no business working out. He said that 2/3 majority could have been different had they sat in that place and refused to take part in the process. They would have never had that 2/3 majority. But this is a fundamental blunder. But that is because somebody is advising them wrongly at every single instant. Then this is not a thing. I mean, when you can now on radio and TV, and get this for me. I don't they talk for a very long time, since August of 2018. I can always be proud of that record, given an opportunity by His Excellency the President. Yeah, whenever you see explanation long, problem day. When you ask somebody question, you see and begin the passage and go defense of court, they go under commander kaya. This man sit down there, they give quotation, and wonder how many people sabi that quotation they will give. Right? But Lord Horse on side, and we talk, not talk. You know fundamentally that is a problem. Yeah, in terms of the strategy, their approach, the policy. And that is what they're suffering from, right? And so they want to take the public along. Then the inconsistencies, then they want to suffer the same fate as they are suffering now. Now look, we have to get very serious, honest.
You see the Supreme Court for do anything outside within the speaker don't do with this matter.
I wish I hold any brief for the Supreme Court. Right, but if I attempt to talk for the Supreme Court now, right, then go call me.
Now, for Moti, the matter not reaching the court.
It is going to go there. So I assume, the Chief Justice and all judges in the Supreme Court who also they occupy their mind now. They don't begin to read ahead because they know say something is coming before them, for which they're responsible to give an interpretation that will be binding, right, for future and subsequent parliaments. Them. So I mean, let us wait for them. Once it gets to them, I mean, then they second at the queue. Right? Because the Speaker already don't say it has to go to the Supreme Court, and within 3 months, Supreme Court for them before come back and give a lasting interpretation to them provisions there and the exceptions as then see them. Right? The Supreme Court then get the sole authority for giving interpretations then they. Which may go urge the APC. My brother is part of the APC. That again, you find a consistency there. When you begin to chop and change positions. You were there. You've been there today. You agree to 50+1. In fact, on a put on day, when Justice Edmond Kawan, with all the conversations we then get across the country, district by district, region by region, section by section, constituency by constituency, over 800 returns and all length in the 80-man committee, when they adopted the position to say 50+1, in their own paper where they pull common do, their views, unharnessed by Kroma and the government, was consistent with the recommendations, right, of the Constitutional Review Committee report. Very consistent. Now, the explanation don't long. They don't hold that position there again. They cannot explain why they don't hold that position and they again. They don't grab, they don't work out in a parliament, which is not the fault.
Okay.
It is very confusing, right, to the nation, let alone to the people who already support them.
Something quick I want to talk with, sometimes let we not lose sight of them. I'll take you to exactly what you asked me, whether the speaker held. We get within the regulate parliamentarians in the parliament, then call them standing orders. Now let me read you standing order 44, sub 3. Make you listen what he say.
The parliament you don't go so now.
No, wait.
They talk for parliament now.
But wait, but you are big. One thing will make you very seasoned when you cancel public engagement is your ability for make you read vastly.
Not for put more to say, you're not supposed to put more.
Exactly.
It's also part of you.
Let me go to
don't talk about parliament. You know to parliament.
Allow me.
Then go call you.
It's a bill, listen. a bill for an act of parliament to alter, underline the word, alter, provisions of the constitution shall, mandatory, pursuant to paragraph B of subsection 2 of the entrenched section of 108 of the constitution, require to be supported on the second and third readings by votes of not less than 2/3 of all, underline the word, of all the members of parliament. First stop. This is not like how Honorable Bundu talk. I don't want to say
Well,
it.
they want things enough for them.
But let me say this.
Parliament.
This particular, I
state
repeat
of
again,
APC
I don't know something I
parliamentarian.
talk in I don't know. I don't know how to say things like I go and beat about the bush. Listen, and let me repeat again for the public consumption. Section 108 regulates special instances like this when they alter the constitution. And so it not require members of parliament in parliament and voting. No. Section 108 requires, sub 2, paragraph B requires members of all parliamentarians to vote. It's not either or. They have to vote. And if they don't vote and you don't have the 2/3 majority, that is where it ends.
Okay.
You don't have any other way about it.
Anyway, people
So
qualify.
if Honorable Ibrahim Bundu asked me, brother, they rely on that opinion.
No, not public knowledge. Which is said in a
I am very sorry to say.
AYV. A Good Morning program on TV.
It's far removed from even the standing orders where they regulate parliament when it comes to the voting on such constitutional provisions that requires alteration of the constitution. And again, let me make you understand this clear. The constitution, you're not going to say because section 40 talks about the president, and they no more talk about president, so 71 no get nothing for the president. No. When the constitution has section 108 talks, say when you want to alter this constitution, so it begins right from section 1 to the last transitional provisions. It covers everything that is codified in this book. It is this entirety of this book that is called the Constitution of Sierra Leone. So it is saying
for the interpretation of the Supreme Court, and the president give assent to this particular document. What's in their opinion?
This is where I want to plead to the conscience of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, that pursuant to section 106, subsection 7, it give President Bio the right na this constitution. So with all the two I don't do so na parliament. The bill don't pass from first reading till it don't pass third reading. Now look at they don't count on a table for make a append me signature. He say no, I know they append me signature.
And the same constitution make provision who said the president will forgive assent for make count the bill back na parliament and to vote on them.
Very correct. So now when the president don't tell you, say me I know they vote on this. That na 8 talks to subsection 8 talk about Andy now. I like it when you're provoking my constitutional appetite. So now when the president don't return them, he say I know they sign this bill, and the president the law say again, it for state reasons why you know they sign them. And now the speaker in the parliament, if he so feels say this bill borders and touches on every Sierra Leonean, and this is where in again you get to understand who is a parliamentarian. A parliamentarian is representing all of us in this country. Where borders everybody is saying no, parliament don't pass this bill by a 2/3 majority. Listen now, that's the argument of the speaker now. 2/3 majority don't pass this bill, Mr. President. If we don't send them to you, still say you know they sign them. Now parliaments again, they sit on and now, and when they vote on and now, you don't need presidential access again in the Senate direct for be published in the Gazette.
Okay.
You understand, sir?
Okay.
But we'll not reach it. What would they try for say first? Let us take one step at a time.
When I trust the president, we no go sign.
I am now saying this. This is why I say I am pleading to the conscience of the president.
When they plead different from trust.
No, I am pleading. I said I am.
But
I am now taking myself in a very subjective case here.
Okay.
That's AKK seated here is pleading to the president in the interest of democracy and for the saving of the soul of Mama Salone. Please, President, not sign this bill.
Okay. Imran.
You get the right not for sign this bill because you get the right and then provide them for you. That's section 106 sub 7.
Imran,
Do you not sign this bill because one, the speaker erred in confusing general provisions and specific provisions in the constitution. 2, section 108C, anybody will attempt to alter this constitution without having a 2/3 majority at both second and third reading don't commit an offense that is treasonable. And you know, treasons, crimes or offenses of that nature are capital offenses.
Okay.
And so, for the interest of the fountain of honor, and always nicknaming himself, and some of us to a very greater extent, see him as a father of democracy who believes in the voices of the majority. More especially, the Council of Paramount Chiefs has spoken. The Council of Churches, the interreligious community has spoken. The Sierra Leone Labour Congress, the 3 largest constituencies in the country, have all spoken that this bill does not serve its intent and purposes, and it has the proclivity to rendering this country into chaos.
Okay.
Please don't sign it. I am pleading with the president.
Imran,
you cannot sign
this quick one. Imran, you are a member of the Sierra Leone People's Party, and President Bill, supposed to give assent to this particular document, also a member of the Sierra Leone People's Party and are the leader of Funa Party. From what you know so far, you think the president will sign this bill, this document ahead of the Supreme Court interpretation?
So you ask the wrong person, right? This particular question.
I make a link to the party.
You ask the wrong person totally. A day within in right for make an appeal to the president. It is not for me to respond to that appeal. I hope you understand. It's way above my pay grade. That's a decision for the president to take. When he does that, the public will know. I hope you understand. I know I'm forgetting to hypotheticals.
Okay.
Yeah, whether the president this, that's not what I'm paid to do. By any means, not on behalf of the party, not for which I do not State House. I hope you understand. Not by any means. So I'm not going to get into that conversation. But I also say this, and this is my own honest view. What we are faced with now as a nation is more than just a conversation around this constitutional review. This country, they go through in real time and living with the challenges and the problems internally in the APC. That is what we have to contend with, and Adando they live with. Which make us say so. Just as the APC then said and get a position, you get senior members them, far senior than AKK by any means whatsoever. Honorable Ibrahim Bundu and others, right? We get dissenting views. And when they come out in the public and they make their statements, then they so. I mean, what are we tempted now to believe as in within our APC then thinking and within our then position? Former leader, majority leader in the parliament, Honorable Ibrahim Bundu, who served the APC party with distinction for many years, right? Has slightly different view. And don't forget, as a member of parliament, as a leader of government business in parliament, who dealt with the constitution and procedural interpretation to many things over many periods, it gets a slightly biased view when you sit well with the APC, their own position, and which in the past and talk. There's a problem more fundamental than which we will talk about. So now, number 2, I wonder why during the course of this conversation, for as long as we don't get and so forth, for which we're grateful to 98.1, why has AKK, nor any of your other colleagues and other platform, not done come and explain to the people of this country as to what happened with the white paper that they adopted in terms of the 50+1, and why has it now changed? Because all of it in the talk what's so now, right? Now just a way for say,
I think we don't move past now. We don't the process.
No, we don't do the process, but they don't shift fundamentally, right? Them positions they will go through parliament for which they don't wait and call so. We had their positions before. Now not to them positions again. I think they owe to the electorate, the people that will vote them in, right? As to why they see them differently now. Second, third, and that will be the point at which are the close. I mean, I think we have to look internal for many things then. If APC can focus on how to be a political party and shape the views of people, not chopping and changing.
Okay.
I think it would be helpful.
Let's
for the
try for-
discourse going forward.
But that's
Tell-
something
tell
we
me
have
which-
to.
No,
That's
this is
using this phrase.
Time
What do you mean by chopping and changing? What do you mean by that?
That's the point I have to end
beg
on.
your pardon. Okay, give and take in just less than 10 seconds. Give and take.
You spent over 2 minutes.
No, I think if you don't get a bite on that one day, just give and take. You want for tell Famble and say before the end of this particular month, we will also see the Supreme Court call on this particular matter.
Yes, I'm very certain of that.
For Motu and no so far.
Yes, we are almost done with our paperwork. Again, you get to understand. Again, this is a technical job we are going to do. We don't want to go to the Supreme Court haphazard. This is the highest court of the land, and you're going to meet seasoned judges there.
Okay.
People that we don't play with constitution left, right,
Okay.
and center. So technical inadequacies is a whole grounds for making whiskey papers.
Okay. Plenty
Off the
thank
court.
plenty
So
thank
we
you,
have to
Tona.
be careful and make sure that let the people's decision stand
Okay.
the test of time.
Plenty thank
let
you,
us be
Tona.
mindful of the decisions we make and let posterity be kind
Don't
to
come
us.
out saying, "No, not trust there again." No.
We go find time for bringing one or two back now the studio as the discussion on the constitutional amendments bill dey continue for the time being so far. A name na Abdul Karim Kamara, a member of the APC publicity team, and Sef Imran Sila, when I member of Silent People's Party publicity team, instead being at the program, they talk about voting at their own position on this particular document with Parliament agree for. So to meet again, we bring this program can to your name na Cheng Najalo, and plenty thank you to the production team, Theodore Arena produce the program, DJ School Face give you technical support, and Sef Mary Kamara Bango and Alfred Janami, able for watch we live on our Facebook and YouTube page. So to meet again.